Virgo. Oh my goodness. What could I say about Virgo? Well, you're literally the shit. And I mean that in multiple ways. Um, Virgo, you are the virgin. You're the woman. You're the actually the only woman of the entire zodiac, which is why Virgo, being an earth sign, is ruled by a feminine aspect. By the way, fire and air signs are considered masculine. Water and earth signs are considered feminine, just so everybody knows. Virgo, you're mostly born between August 21st and September 21st, and you are a mutable earth sign. Destruction of earth. What does that sound like? That sounds like the bowels. That's correct. It governs the sympathetic nervous system and the lower digestive system. So, whereas actually, Virgo's not just the lower digestive system. I would say it's more the upper digestive system. But Libra also governs the lower digestive system as well. Now, the reason for this is because Virgo is the largest of all of the constellations in the sky. It is the largest one. It's bigger than Taurus, it's bigger than Leo, it's bigger than all of them. And the reason for that is because there's a wide variety of Virgos, more so than any other energy in the entire zodiacal sphere. I have met many Virgos. They've all been completely different. They are probably the hardest sign, or one of the hardest signs to peg. They also are ruled by their planets. It's actually just Mercury as the planet. However, unlike any other sign, Virgo is ruled by Chiron and the asteroid belts. Now, why is that important? Because the asteroid belts in our grand cosmological solar system represents the crown of thorns of Jesus Christ. It represents the destroyed aspect, the destroyed planet, which is why Virgo rules the solar plexus, where the Christ seed of the sacred secretion process is born. And that is why Virgo is the virgin. It is the only woman of the zodiac because it is where the baby is born in our bodies. So the asteroid belt, which is a destroyed planet, is like the sacrificial element of the Christ. And this is also why they do weird things like why 9/11 was done when it was, because it's a destructive element. So Virgos are normally known as being very clever, analytical, reliable, and modest, but they can be perfectionists, judgmental, critical, or demanding. And I have known a lot of Virgos to be those things. Now, I have the other stuff there as well. I find it funny that their true gemstone is various kinds of flint, just like poop, haha, very funny. But that's what Virgos do. They're literally they go around and they say, no, you're garbage, you're trash. Like, they're very good at being able to decipher good from bad. They're one of the better signs in that. They represent the snake in the Chinese zodiac, or the serpent, because it is the baby version of the Leo. A lot of the time, Virgo and Leo is actually quite similar, except that Virgo is a much more down-to-earth version of Leo. They're a lot more logical. They're a lot less fiery and kind of have their head in the clouds. They also kind of are somewhat full of themselves a lot of the time, so keep that in mind as well. But they also represent angels, virgins, etc., as their kind of key figure here. So, let's take a look at the sigil of Virgo, which is this M shape. Now, why is this weird M shape, and why does Scorpio also have the same thing? Well, I'm going to get into the Scorpio one later. But the M shape on Virgo is actually a reference to maternal, as in motherly or something along those lines. And it has this little kind of like, this little flip. It has like kind of this little flippy duality thing at the end of its M. This is the return. This is like an asteroid coming and passing by the Earth and then leaving, and then it's going to come back around, because this is where, again, the Christ seed is born. So the M in Virgo and the M in Scorpio represent hidden key secrets, hidden attributes of our divine human existence. And the M of Virgo specifically is the looped reference of the Christ seed that is born within the manger. Now, as we can see in the faces of Virgo, they have a very sleek face. Again, very earthly elements, so they're going to have very nice hair. They're going to have very deep, a lot of the time darker eyes or darker eyebrows and things of that nature. They kind of look a little Taurus-y, but not really too much. But what I will tell you is that they do have, again, the Mercury eyes. just like with Geminis. They have the Mercury eyes, where the two eyes will go in different directions, or there'll be different sizes, or what have you. A lot of people who have Virgo and Gemini energy have these Mercury eyes. And they're also very sleek, especially the women. Virgo is much more feminine sign, so the women Virgos oftentimes, just like Taurian women, often have pretty nice figures. They have hourglass figures. They're very naturally beautiful. I do know that a lot of Virgo women, if you get them at certain parts of their life, they can even be quite, I guess, feministy in a sense, where they just won't shave stuff. They are very earthy. They don't care about having to be perfectionists for people who they don't deem worthy. So they're perfectionists in their own mind, which I respect. It's whatever they want to do. But I also find that a lot of Virgo women are also OCD and super anal, no pun intended. They're super anal. They want to make sure that everything is plucked, everything, all the makeup is perfect and everything else. Like, they can be super hyper perfectionists too. So it's kind of a weird juxtaposed duality. And again, this kind of plays into the entire thing of the good and bad of each zodiacal sign. So the good is that they're very analytical, they're very down to earth, they're very grounded, very logical, very good with money, all of those things. However, what they're not good at is self-reflection. A lot of the time, I feel like a lot of Virgos don't take 10 seconds to try to basically look at themselves and say, is this really, like, they don't hypercritical analyze themselves after a certain point. They do in the beginning, but once they get an idea of what they believe is perfect, they don't look at themselves enough. And they're not judging themselves harshly enough. And I think that kind of coincides with the sacred secretion process. This is where the Christ seed is born, and this is also where that energy is going to maximize its potential. So if you're not paying attention to those things, then the Christ seed dies. And then as a Virgo, you would die as well. You kind of get some of that, dragon is a Leo, serpent is a Virgo, supernova effect from the Leos. You kind of get that, like, oh man, I'm just going to be a copycat of the Leos and try to be super unique, and then they blow up on themselves. And the other thing about Virgos too is that they can be very much like Libras as well, because they're such a large sign. Their sign bleeds into both Leo and Libra. In fact, poor little Libra is pretty much almost entirely occupied by half of Virgo. So this is why Libra's so goddamn indecisive a lot of the time. But we're going to get into Libra right about now. But the way I want to end on Virgo is this. You guys are beautiful. Stop being so damn critical and judgmental, and just learn to love the present moment. And also, a lot of Virgos too, food is a really big thing with Virgos and Libras too. But Virgos, for whatever, they either don't eat enough, or they eat too much, or they eat the wrong things. Like, watch what you eat, because what you're putting into your body is going to be what kind of drives you as a Virgo with that energy in those stomach kind of areas in the digestive tract.